What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. If it's your first time here, welcome. We are glad to have you. If you're a misfit gear nerd looking for a new place to call home, or if you're a working stiff fighting to stay inspired, you have come to the right place. I'm Justin Brogdon. I'll be your host and guide on this wacky musical journey. We'll deep dive on all of the gear. We'll do all things DIY home studio, and even go into some deeper concepts like how we stay connected to our passions with life happening around us at all times. On today's video, we're going to take a look at my custom-built DIY mega pedal board that I affectionately call Ground Control. I'm going to take you through the inspiration of that board, all the gear that's on it, and I'll even give you some tips in case you are in the process of starting a new pedal board build yourselves, so be sure to stay till the end. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I'd like to invite you to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications now so that you get notified when these videos come out. At the end of this video, if you've liked what you've seen, hit the like button. All right, let's get to it. All right, so we're down here in my rehearsal space. My pedal board is here at my feet, and I'm gonna just take you through the whole thing. Just imagine this. I play in a trio. I'm the guitarist and singer. Got a rhythm section behind me. I'm creating all the melody that's being made on stage. I've got to front this band. I have to sing all the songs. A lot of the stuff is pretty heavy, rock-driven stuff. Some of it is very kind of new wavy, spacey, landscapey, big lush landscapes of stuff. So it's like 1 minute might be a fuzz on that is dry as a bone that's just chopping your head off, and then the next minute may be some kind of lush, landscapey, soundtracky kind of vibe thing where you've got, you know, a big long delay, dotted eighth long delay going, a heavy tremolo going, and a big spatial reverb. Maybe you've got a little boost on it. Who knows what's going on? And you need all that to be going on during the chorus. But when the verse comes back in, you needed to hit back, just be on that fuzz pedal and be melting faces, rocking, right? So prior to building out this pedal board, I had a smaller pedal board and had a lot of these effects were on that pedal board, and I was having to manually turn those things on and off. And then I was also running vocal effects, as you can see right here. The TC Helicon Voice Live Play I had on my acoustic board for when I would do acoustic gigs, solo acoustic gigs, some duo gigs. And it would be to my right. So I'm left-footed, right-handed. Rick Beato, it is a thing. Apparently, if you guys aren't hip to Rick Beato, he has one of the best YouTube channels on YouTube, music-wise. And he was talking to Kim Thale from Thale, who knows, from Soundgarden. And apparently Kim is also left-footed, right-handed. And he was having a conversation about whether that was really even a thing. And I can assure you that it definitely is. So I wanted to create an area where I'm just working from just a 12, 18-inch radius of space. And that is how I got here, because before I was just tap dancing. I couldn't engage the crowd. I couldn't really be in the moment of what I was playing, and it made it really difficult to have fun playing in a trio. So that led me down this rabbit hole of looking at ways I could build out a pedal board that would afford me to stay engaged with the crowd and with the music and not be putting on a tap dance routine like Jesco White every time I get on stage. So I decided to do a switching system and started looking at boards I wanted to build out. I would recommend if you are thinking about building out a board, regardless of whether you're thinking about using Pedal Train or not, I would recommend you go to their site and take advantage of their technology where they have you can mock up any pedal board. They have almost every single pedal that exists at scale to build out a pedal board, and you can get a rendering of it. It'll definitely help you kind of think through what your signal chain needs to be if you're not running a switching system. It gives you a lot to think about, and it's very, very, very helpful in the process. So I ended up going with the Pedal Train Pro, Pedal Train Classic Pro, I think is the actual model, and I got it with the touring case with wheels, which is a huge, huge lifesaver. So the brain of this operation is the Boss ES8 switching system, and everything is run into it. And I love that about it because it really just allows me to just work here. So you can, in memory mode, you can build out patches in this rig and have every one of your songs in your set built into this. And you can have, you know, the way that I have mine set up is that everything starts here where it says Super Hornet. And I just go, if it's intro or verse 1, it's this is always the starting place. And, you know, whatever follows that. So if it's chorus, bridge, solo, outro, whatever it might be, it always starts here and works this way. And then if you're in the middle of a song, maybe your band stretches out, maybe y'all like to get your jam ski on. We all like to jam. And you need to be able to operate this thing as a pedal board and use these pedals as they are, then you can just hit the manual and it just turns this into this. Each one of these pedals that are on this board are represented on here in 8 discrete loops. And you can operate it as a pedal board and get a lot out of it. It's really, really, really cool. I'm running dual lock on here. The cabling is all Evidence Audio solderless cabling. I highly recommend their cabling. It is not gonna be the cheapest, but this build is not about going the cheapest way. This build is about building the best pedal board that you can. You've already invested in some costly gear. Why are you gonna skimp on your cabling? Why are you gonna skimp on what you're using to attach it to your board? Like, spend the money, get the best that you can get, and know that it's gonna work when you need it to work. That's my motto about this stuff, and it hasn't failed me yet. So we'll go through the pedals that I'm using. Like I said, started out, we're going with the Buddha Bourgeois wah pedal. This is one of the first gen wah pedals, and honestly, I think it makes a difference. So if you can find one of the older ones, go with it. I've got a bunch of wahs, and I've been through a bunch more that I don't have anymore, and this is the one that I use 100% of the time. Going through my drives, I'm running a Greer Amps Special Request Boost. I love the way this boost sounds. Doesn't color really. It has a bit of a sound, but in its place before I used an EP booster forever, and the Special Request just has a little more sauce for me. I really love that pedal. Next to it, got my Catlin Bread Manx Loft and Fuzz, which also kind of lives in that same world as a distortion pedal. As much as it is a fuzz, it gets real tight where you can play kind of percussively on it. So if you're playing heavier stuff, it doesn't squash out and bloom like a lot of other fuzzes do, which I love that about it. It's got kind of a big muff quality to it as well. And then for my Overdrive, that is a Klon clone. It's just a Piedmont Custom Electronics aluminum Falcon. This is their final edition, so they're using some of their older germanium diodes. I love that pedal and it sounds awesome. And then in this spot where you see the Super Hornet, that is kind of an auxiliary spot where I'll move pedals in and out to try them out. And that's a killer pedal. It is it's an Octafuzz, but it's not just an Octafuzz. What's great about the Super Hornet and Nick Greer, if you're not hip to Greer amplification, go check Nick Greer out. We miss him here in Athens. He's in Portland, Oregon now, I believe, but makes killer pedals and killer amps. So, and a super swell dude as well. So y'all check Nick out. And this pedal, so again, it's an Octafuzz, so you can dial it in when it's just in the on position. As you can see here, it's just gonna be an Octafuzz, but when you put it in the stinger position, you can run it as a fuzz, and then when you depress this, then it goes Octafuzz. And so you can do some pretty interesting things with it, having it set that way, and I really love that pedal. Next to it, kind of my time-based effects, you've got the Eventide H9 Max, which is an amazing, amazing pedal. I'm really only using this pedal for verbs and a few sound effecty things, but it can do anything. It's just such an incredible piece of kit, and I do love it. I'm controlling it with this controller. This is Analog Endeavor's controller, so that when I'm in manual mode, and this was part of the learning curve for me, when I initially built this board out, I was kind of building it out with just the mindset of running this with patches built out in it. And then I started thinking about, well, when you're down here working up new tunes and and you're in the middle of a show and y'all want to stretch out and you want to kind of be able to freely run this as a normal pedal board, you need to be able to control these smart pedals, and these controllers allow me to do that. So this one is going to the Eventide H9. The top one is going to my Strymon Mobius pedal, which is just a modulation pedal. It has all of the legendary modulation pedals built into it, and I love that pedal. If you want to go buy all of the legendary pedals and try to run them all at the same time, feel free to do that. What I love about this, the research that I did, which was a ton on the front end, is that it really gets a great snapshot of all of these legendary tremolos, of all the vibratos, envelope filters, flange, phasers, the phase 90 stuff, really all of your organ tones. It's such a killer piece of gear, and I'm able to control it with this top one. And I'm running for all my delays, the TC Electronics Flashback 4. I came up playing a Line 6 DL4. I love the footprint of that. And this operates very much the same way, but the delays in it are exceptional. I love that. This is my second or third flashback. I've got another one on another board, and I really, really, really love it. So I've got that, and then of course everybody needs a POG in their life. This is the POG 2. I just use this for a couple of octave things, but the capability of that pedal is amazing. And all of that is feeding in into the switching system, and then of course I've got my voice processor on the end of that. And then the last but not least is the Sonic Research Turbo Tuner. Everybody needs a great tuner, and if you're looking for an amazing strobe tuner that won't break the bank, I highly recommend Sonic Research's strobe tuners. They make amazing stuff. The power underneath this board is Voodoo Lab. I have used True Tone Power as well. Both great options. I had these. So I've got the Voodoo Lab Mondo pedal power underneath it, and then also a 4x4, and that's really just running this vocal processor. So I needed a little more than what I could get out of that one, so I added a second one. So I really have just kind of overkill on the power, but you can never have too much power because you never know what you're gonna need. And then everything underneath this, as you see on the bottom of this, I've loomed all of the cabling and run kind of a highway system so that everything is sturdy and really just tidied up and in place where there's nothing's getting hung up on something as I'm trying to load in and out of the case with this. And it really is what I attribute to the success I've had with this. I've never had a breakdown. I'm using Evidence Audio solderless cable, which is the best that you can buy. It's not going to be your cheapest route, but it'll be the thing that you only have to do one time. I've never had a failure in this board with this cabling, and it's been going on 4 years now. And that's all you need to know. It's been in and out of this case a million times, and it hasn't failed me once. So whatever it costs is certainly worth it. If you're gonna build out a pedal board like this, and you're gonna spend big money on the pedals that you put on it, especially if you're going with a switching system, spend the extra money, get dual lock, and get the best cabling that you can get to meet your needs. And then of course, take the time to route all your cabling and make sure everything is tidied up and bulletproof underneath it so that it works all the time. Also, I have Neutrik connectors. Of course, the end for this is in the back of the switcher, so I have everything routed to the side of this, and these are locking Neutrik connectors. So I have the out that goes to the amp, and then the in that goes to the wah pedal, and it just makes it super easy to plug in and get running all at one time and not have to be chasing your tail trying to figure out why your gear's not working. And again, they lock in there, so I do always keep a roll of gaff tape handy just to make sure my cables are taped down properly when I'm at a gig. But having those locked into place really keeps you from having, you know, a sound guy or somebody else come kick out one of your cables and, you know, tear out one of the input jacks on one of your pedals, or certainly a switching system too, if that's how you're running it. And again, my favorite thing about this whole pedal board setup is that I'm just operating in this space right here. So I've got all my patches. Again, let's look at just a song. this song running. A great example of how to best use this. So it has an intro that's got a slapback delay on it. You can see if I hit manual mode, you can see the boost is on, and then I have the slapback is on, the flashback, right? And then as I go into the verse, slapback's off, it's just the boost. So it's dry. But then when I go to the chorus, you can see I've got a dotted eighth, a big verb, and the boost going, as well as a vibrato going. But when I go back to the verse, I just need it to be dry again. And then you got your solos, the whole thing. So I think you guys understand the concept of how the switcher works, and it makes life so much easier, especially if you're fronting a three-piece or any band where you're the singer and the lead guitar player, the lead instrument. This is gonna take a lot of the guesswork and a lot of the stomping around and trying to keep up with all the things that are coming and going as you traverse verses and choruses and switching to the next song, and be able to just bank up to the next song, and then you're loaded up and you don't have to worry about what pedals are on, what pedals are off, what patches you're on the vocal. I'm right here. I use about 4 patches on this, typically on the vocal effects processor, and I'm able to just work right here all the time. Wah pedals here, vocals here, all my switching goes on right here. If I want to go into manual mode, I can go on and turn any of these on or off. And then when I go back into the song, when I go back to memory mode, it just goes back to whatever the last patch you're on. So killer setup. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about this pedal board. Any questions that you have. If you've got your own pedal board build, I'd love to hear more about it. What are you guys running? What kind of cabling do you love? What kind of pedal boards do you love? If you're not hip to dual lock and you have any questions, shoot me questions. There will be links in the description to all of this gear that I'm running. Obviously, if you use any of these links to buy this gear, if you're inspired by what you see here, you will be directly supporting this channel, and I really appreciate it. It's gonna help me continue to put out these videos. Yeah, go build a pedal board. You deserve it. All right, guys, that is gonna be the video. It's occurred to me that I didn't play through the rig. The amp wasn't set up. In a future video, following videos, we will be going through maybe not all of those pedals, but a lot of those pedals that I want to show you really the potential of what you can do with some of those pedals, especially when using it with a switching system. It's pretty amazing, and we'll get to doing some playing and also showing off some of these guitars. So y'all stay tuned for that. If you're not subscribed to the channel, just one more last reminder. Hit the subscribe button, turn your notifications on. If you like the video, hit the like button. I'm Justin Brogdon. Until next time, you guys keep it between the lines. Keep doubling down. We'll be seeing you soon. Cheers.